Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT. I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, words to my brethren in the great city of Liverpool, England, hope of the best club in the world. I don't care what nobody says, man. I don't care how bad we are. Everton Football Club. I wanted to talk about, speaking of Everton Football Club, Tony Bellew. Tony Bellew recently came out um, following the Isaac Chamberlain Lawrence Okoli fight, and he basically calling out Oleksandr Usyk. He's saying like, look, man, I want to fight Oleksandr Usyk. If Oleksandr Usyk wins this tournament, I want to fight him. I feel like I can find a way to beat him. He's coming out and he's confident that he can beat a guy that many perceive to be hands down the best cruiserweight in the world. I think he's the best cruiserweight in the world. If he can win the tournament, and if you guys don't know, it would be a very easy fight to make because of the fact that Usyk did recently capture the WBC belt following his win against the previously unbeaten Marius Briedis. And the reason it's an easy fight to make is Tony Bellew is an emeritus champion. And for those of you who do not know what the hell that is, because I know it's kind of something we don't really talk about in boxing too often, but an emeritus champion is basically just means that you're like the champion in a reset. So like, for example, if you held the belt, let's say you held the belt and you went up to another weight class or you retired, you can come back and you can fight the champion for the belt at any time. So like, I'll give you an example. Floyd Mayweather, technically, if he wanted to, could come back at any time and he could fight Keith Thurman for the WBC belt because I believe he's still the emeritus champion at welterweight. Tony Bellew is pretty much saying that he wants to fight Usyk, and I'll let you guys know what he said. If you didn't see, it was an interview I saw done on IFL TV, so that's what it is there. But here's what he said in regards to a fight with Usyk. He said, I quote, I still very much believe it is my division. This World Boxing Super Series has been a breath of fresh air. Hopefully Usyk comes to the final, and I'm happy to face him. I'm 100% certain I could find a way to beat him, and it would be very hard. If I say Usyk, I want my WBC belt back, he has to face me or lose the belt, end quote. So for me, I'm not going to lie, I might be in the minority of people who think this, but I think this would be a great fight. I really do think it'd be a great fight. Tony Bellew, to me, I feel like with him, boxing fans, have an issue with him now because he's one of those guys he's definitely overachieved in his career. He was never supposed to be as big of a draw in the UK as he's become. He was never supposed to be this box office fighter as he's become in the UK. He was never supposed to fight at Goodison Park for the world title and sell 30,000, 40,000 tickets, whatever it was. But he's done all that, and he was never supposed to beat David Haye, but he did that. So he's made himself quite a name in boxing. And when he was a quote unquote nobody, and when he's a quote unquote somebody, he's always maintained the same persona. He's always been a loudmouth. He's always talked. He's always been very confident. He's always been really good at promoting his fights and drumming up interest for his fights. So because of his personality, a lot of people love him and a lot of people hate him. Maybe that's why I like him, because he's kind of like me. You can either love Tony Bellew, you can hate Tony Bellew, but he's just a kid from Liverpool. But no, he's someone that I think people have their opinions on him, and they can't separate their opinions from what he's actually done in the boxing ring, because people will say, "Oh, well, Bellew would get spanked by all the top cruiserweights," which I don't think that's true. I think there are some cruiserweights who I do think would do quite a number on Tony Bellew, but there's some guys he could beat, and I think he, on his night, if he's at his best, Tony Bellew can give a lot of these guys problems, and Tony Bellew might mess around and upset people because he's maybe made a habit of winning fights he wasn't supposed to win. You go back and look at his career. The guy has quite the resume. We talk about Andre Ward and all the great wins of his career. People talk about, Andre Ward's first step-up fight was Edison Miranda, right? And they gave Andre Ward credit for going 12 rounds to Edison Miranda. Tony Bellew stopped Edison Miranda, a guy who's been knocked out four times in his career, but another 3 aside from Bellew. He knocked out Edison Miranda. We talk about Chilemba. Isaac Chilemba being a top 10 light heavyweight and him giving Kovalev problems. Bellew had a tough fight with him the first time, came back, won in unanimous decision. Tony Bellew's beaten the likes of Nathan Cleverly. Tony Bellew fought Makabu, who was a dangerous cruiserweight at the time. He fought David Haye, a guy that people said he had no chance against. So he's made a habit of winning fights he wasn't supposed to win. And I know that Oleksandr Usyk is a much, much different level than Makabu or David Haye. I mean, he's way up here. Like, the guy is, he messes around and wins his tournament. I might have to just put him number one pound for pound on my list, because to be undisputed in 15 fights, that's unheard of. But still with him at cruiserweight, he's a very different fighter than he was, at heavyweight. Than he is at heavyweight because he's not a real heavyweight. He don't have the punch power at heavyweight that he does at cruiserweight. And people don't want to give him credit for his boxing IQ, but he has good boxing IQ. He understands distance, he understands styles, he understands in what manner he needs to fight to give himself the best chance to win. And I think for a fighter with his skill, with any skill level, but especially a guy who's not the most fastest guy in the world, who doesn't punch the hardest, who wasn't gifted with this physique or he wasn't the most physically gifted fighter we've ever seen, and his boxing IQ is a lot better than people want to give him credit for. His resume is a lot better than people want to give him credit for. And I'm not going to pick him to beat Oleksandr Usyk. I'll just preface. I'll just tell you guys that I don't think he's going to beat Oleksandr Usyk. But will I write Tony Bellew off? Will I just say, Oleksandr Usyk is going to go in there and just slap him around? Absolutely not. That would be disrespectful. That'd be disrespectful because Bellew, like I said, he's not as talented as Usyk. He's not as physically gifted as Usyk or a lot of other fighters that he's beaten on his resume. But this is a man that the best quality about Tony Bellew isn't even his boxing IQ. His best quality is that you guys call him delusional for a lot of things that he says, but he believes what he says. If he says he thinks he can beat Oleksandr Usyk, believe you me, Bellew believes that. He believes that, and I can guarantee you, no disrespect to Marius Briedis, because I thought he fought a decent fight against Bellew. Against Usyk, I thought he fought a good fight. But to be quite honest with you, Briedis is a one-dimensional fighter. He is just a puncher with some decent boxing skills, but he really is just a puncher. He had no plan B that night for Usyk, which is why he got schooled that night when he fought Usyk. Bellew, on the other hand, the best thing about him is that he believes what he says, and I just feel like in a fight like that, it could easily be one of the easiest nights of Usyk's career, or it could be the hardest night of his career. Bellew has that kind of belief and confidence in himself to beat a guy like Usyk. I'm not picking him to beat Usyk. I'm not crazy, but I'm not gonna write him off. And you know what? From a business standpoint, let's say Usyk does win the tournament. If he does beat Murat Gassiev, who I'm not gonna lie, that's gonna be a hard fight for him. If he beats Murat Gassiev, then if I'm Tony Bellew, if I'm Eddie Hearn, I'm looking at a Usyk fight, right? I already fought Makabu at Goodison Park, right? You sold 35,000, 40,000 tickets. That was a big fight for a vacant title. Now imagine, right? Imagine fighting Oleksandr Usyk for the undisputed cruiserweight title at Goodison Park. What kind of numbers those would do? I mean, Bellew's already a big draw. He can sell tickets like no tomorrow over there. Why not do it again? Do the Goodison Park fight again. He himself might not want to do that, because I know for him to fight at Goodison Park and win the world title, that was a lifelong dream of his. Like, he wants to kind of just keep that intact. But I wouldn't be against it. I think it'd be great. I think it'd be, as far as from a monetary standpoint, that'd be the smartest thing you could do, rather than fight the O2 Arena where it's only 20,000 seats. You can fight at Goodison Park where it's like for boxing, you can fit maybe 45,000, 50,000 in there, and Tony will get another nice payday. So, and he'll have a chance to fight for the undisputed title. So, and it's going to be a good atmosphere, because when he fought Makabu, that atmosphere was just straight up electric. So, Tony Bellew wants to fight Usyk for the undisputed championship if he should get to the tournament. He says he will exercise his emeritus champion status and try to get the fight. And I'm not gonna lie, it would be a fight I'd like to see. If Usyk doesn't move to heavyweight right away, I would like to see him fight Tony Bellew. I do think that's a good fight. Granted, Bellew still has to get through the David Haye rematch, which I do think he'll be victorious in again. But he has to get through that, and that's not going to be an easy fight for him. Or maybe it will. We don't know. But yeah, that's really it. Tony Bellew wants to fight Oleksandr Usyk. He's confident he could beat him. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like, I know a lot of you guys are going to say, for BT, you're crazy. There's no way in hell Bellew is going to compete with Usyk. But I'm telling you guys, you can't. When a guy like this has beaten so many opponents that he's been written off against, you can never bet against a guy like that. I want to say you can't bet against him. You can't write him off, because, I mean, you look at his resume, right? You look at Tony Bellew's resume, he only has 2 losses on his resume. And who are those 2 losses to? Both of those losses are to one guy who would go on to become the lineal light heavyweight champion, Adonis Stevenson. And then the other guy was Nathan Cleverly, a guy who was a world champion himself. So it's not like he lost to scrubs, and he beat quite a few great fighters. The only guy that he lost to that he never avenged his loss against was Adonis Stevenson. And I think as boxing fans, we can all be in agreement that Adonis Stevenson, whether you think he held the title hostage or not, Adonis Stevenson went on to become a pretty decent fighter, knocking the likes of him out. He's beat from Faras. He beat some good fighters. Chad Dawson, I believe he beat as well. So Adonis Stevenson is no scrub, and that's just what it is there. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you give Tony Bellew any chance in the world of beating an Oleksandr Usyk? Should that fight ever happen? And yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every video, man, my name is Brendan Taylor. And you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.